soundness of a name brings dominion. Meaning of a name. God had meaning in naming Adam, Adam. God had meaning in naming Eve, Eve, Abraham, Sarah, Jacob, Jesus, John the Baptizer. What about Peter? See, there is meaning in the name. Your name has a meaning. Do you know what it means? And how are you living out that meaning as a demonstration of what God's original intent for you is in your life? Have you turned that into a prophetic proclamation? Let me use an example. I'll just use myself to keep it quick. My name is Rebecca Ann. And Rebecca means to be bound to or tied to, like we were talking about the scriptures being bound to our fingers. And Ann means grace. And my father insisted that that was to be my name in school. He did not want me to drop Ann. It was Rebecca Ann. He had had a dream that he was going to have a daughter, and her name was Rebecca Ann. So when he had a daughter, her name was Rebecca Ann, and I am it. And let me tell you about this. Do you know that I don't actually remember the day that I was born again? I don't. But I remember having conversations with Jesus when I was very young. Rest assured, I am born again. I believe Jesus is a Messiah. I know that he has saved me from my sins. I know that his spirit is in me, and I am ever joyful that I live for him. But see, my name was a prophecy. My name meant something that was determined before the foundation of the world, and I'm living that testimony today because I am telling others about the love of Jesus, the life in Jesus, and becoming like Jesus. And so my last names, my maiden name meant red skin warrior. I've got a little bit of Native American, but I'm also Scottish. And so I couldn't help but be a little dark skinned. And I'm a firecracker. You don't know that about me because you just haven't spent enough time with me, but I can be a firecracker. My married name, surname is Bennett, which means blessed. And I can tell you that ever since I had joined in a union with my husband, my life has been ever so blessed. And so your name becomes a proclamation of who you are. And so if you can't remember your sound identity, just say your name. Say his name. What are his names? What do they mean to you? This is part of who you are. You know, part of a name is the sound in which something is being stated. So if I call you by your name, I'm selecting you out of a group of many, right? Because that's you. That's your identifier. What makes God, our God, Yahweh, different than the other gods? Well, number one, he was the original. He always was and always will be. But not only that, he bears the name above all other names. And when you begin to question that identity, you can call back on the name and begin to prophesy and declare that over your situation to reassure you of your sound identity. Identification comes through the name, whether you're friend or foe. God is my God, and I am his people. And then what does your name say about you in heaven? Every day, there is something being recorded about you. Are you filling out your pages of destiny, or are you filling out pages of vanity? Because guess what? Those will fly away. They'll be void. It's written, but it's like it's in invisible ink. It doesn't bear any fruit. It doesn't give any reflection of really who you are. Those that say they are believers by word only, but do not act as such, they're simply just putting vanity on their pages. You see, we have to agree by our testimony. We have to show it. Jesus didn't say, okay, say this prayer after me. He said, you are healed. Now go and tell. Go and sin no more. Go, and he gave instructions. And if they followed the instructions, They were saved because they already knew their faith made them healed. Their faith made them a believer, right? But then you did have some that were healed that never gave any response, not even an acknowledgement. And there are those that are saved that never give glory to God. Well, their pages are going to be a little bit more empty.